Okay, this one is absolutely incredible. The amazing thing is I've talked to you about a couple of times in my life where I've almost died. Well, this one is very, very interesting in the respect that just a few months ago, I literally was on an operating table and my heart failed. I was dead on the operating table. And the circumstances to get me to that operating table is unbelievable. And the fact that I was on the operating table at that particular moment and my heart absolutely, literally failing at that particular moment is it literally a God thing. So let me explain. I believe that I got cancer to save my life. I believe cancer saved my life. Honestly, it's not a joke. For about 6 to 8 months before I got my cancer diagnosis, I went to the doctor and got a blood test. And they did a blood test and just to check on my, do a health check. And while I was there, they checked my pulse, and my pulse was really, really low, in the low 30s. And the nurse thought her machine was broken, so she went and got another one. Came back and was like, "My gosh, your heart is really slow." And I was like, well, I think it's always like that because I haven't been going to the doctor a lot, and I'd forgotten about the thing that happened decades ago, where they diagnosed me with bradycardia. We didn't even think about that because it'd been decades. But she freaked out, and the doctor came in and looked at my heart, and they're like, "Man, something's wrong. You need to do an EKG." So I did an EKG, and it came back abnormal. So they're like, "Man, you need to go see the cardiologist." So I went to a cardiologist. Went to the cardiologist, and over the next few months, I did all the workup. I did make a workup on the echocardiogram. I did a stress test. I did a whole bunch of different things to evaluate my heart. And at the end of the day, the cardiologist says, "You have a really abnormal heart, but I recommend that you get a pacemaker." And I'm like, I'm 57 years old. I'm like, pacemaker? In my mind, that's like old people. And so I said no. And I was really digging into all natural health at that point. I'm just like, I'm going to figure out a way to do this myself. I'm going to go talk to doctors. And I've met with 5, 6 different holistic practitioners. And I said, help me with my heart. I got to get my heart fixed. So I did all sorts of supplements. I spent thousands of dollars on all different types of treatments, supplements and energy treatments and even emotional treatments. I did lots of different things, and at the end of the day, nothing was working. And then, and I told that cardiologist no, but then I get diagnosed with cancer. I'm like, oh crap, this is not good. And then went through the cancer process, and the doctor's like, well, we need to operate on your ankle. I got melanoma on my back of my right ankle, strange place for it. So it wasn't due to sun. But anyway, as part of that process, they said we need to do an operation. But they checked my heart, did an EKG, and it was like, your heart is too slow. And so we can't do an operation because we can't put you under sedation because your heart is beating too slow. So they said, you need to go see a cardiologist. So guess what? I go see a cardiologist. Cardiologist does a workup on me and comes back and gives me a recommendation. Guess what this recommendation was? You need a pacemaker. And I said, didn't really want to get a pacemaker, so I didn't. And 3 months later, my tumor started to develop in my lymph nodes. So my melanoma had actually spread into my lymph nodes. If you do any research on cancer and then cancer getting into your lymph nodes, and then you look at melanoma and melanoma getting into your lymph nodes, it's very dangerous, and many people die, and they die quickly. And so that was a wake-up call, and I'm like, oh crap, now what do I do? And so one of the things that I did as part of my treatment, I went and got my teeth done. I got the amalgams removed from my mouth, and I got the root canals removed. When you do research on cancer, you'll find that the mouth is very, very important. It can actually have an effect on your entire body. So really want people to be aware of root canals and mercury in the mouth. Very, very bad for you. So I went and got that removed. But when I went to Mexico to get it done, because I was having multiple things done, it was much less expensive in this incredible biodental center in Tijuana. And while I was there, guess what? They said, we're going to do surgery. We need to do surgery in your mouth, but your heart rate's really low. And they said, well, you need to go see a cardiologist before we can do your surgery. So guess what? I go see a cardiologist and I get a workup done, and guess what that cardiologist tells me I need? Any guesses? I need a pacemaker. So I said, I'm not going to do it while I'm in Tijuana right here. So I literally had to sign my life away for them to do the dental work on me while I was there. And had one scary situation during my 5 or 6 hours of surgery over a 2-day period, but I ended up surviving. They did a local anesthetic instead of a general. That's why they were able to do it. But they did not want to do it without sign up. So I had to sign my life away. But I survived that incident. But after that third cardiologist, I really got to thinking and praying and working with my wife, and we went back and said, you know what, maybe we need to get the, see about getting the pacemaker done. So I finally give in, and I go to agree to get my pacemaker done. And as the time frame while I'm agreeing to get my pacemaker surgery done, my heart was failing, and I didn't realize it. See, what I had was it's called a junctional rhythm. So my backup, my heart was fluttering so much that it wasn't beating, and so the backup of my heart, which is called the junctional rhythm, that's what was beating my heart. And so my backup was been beating it for decades. And what I didn't realize is my backup had failed. And so as I was going through this process, the bottom chamber of my heart was the only thing that was beating my heart. So my heart rate was going down. And when I got to the hospital to do the pacemaker surgery, twice before that, leading up to that, I'd passed out on my couch. Almost passed out. I was like sitting on the couch doing nothing, and I just almost passed out. I'm like, what is going on? And literally on the drive to the airport, I'm sorry, not to the hospital to get my surgery done, I almost passed out. My heart was failing. I didn't know it. I get to the pre-op room, nurses preparing me. Nurse is freaking out. She's like, your heart is in the 20s. It's like 28. And she's like, what the heck is going on? He goes, how are you standing? How are you just sitting there? He goes, I don't understand. She goes, I was going to throw you down on the ground and start doing heart palpitations, because I was going to die. And I was like, what the heck? What's going on? I didn't understand. So they get me into the operating room, and they start the surgery to do the pacemaker, and my heart fails. My heart failed as I'm sitting on the operating table. And if it wasn't for me being on the operating table with heart doctors there, with pacemakers already set up, ready to go, I wouldn't be here today. God put me on that table. I would not have been at that table if I would not have gotten cancer. The reason why I went to get the heart pacemaker in was because the doctor said we may need to do surgery on your lymph nodes for your cancer. I would not have done that without getting diagnosed with cancer. Yet, I was at the right place at the right time when my heart failed. And they did an emergency surgery into my pacemaker and got it installed, and my heart started beating, and they got the permanent one installed. It took way longer than they thought. My poor wife and brother were waiting for me in the surgery area, and were really concerned because it was taking way longer than what was planned, and they didn't realize I'd actually died on the table. But thank God there I was there, and the heart surgeons got it going. They got my heart going again with this new one, and they backed it down off to not work, and my heart wasn't working. So literally, without that pacemaker, I would not be here today. And again, the only reason I was there is because I got cancer. So I believe in God's honest truth that God gave me cancer too, because I was so stubborn that I was not going to get my heart fixed. And he said, okay, the only way you're going to get it done is if we go this route. So anyway, that's a really long story about my heart. I died on the operating table, and I was there because of cancer. And I believe the Lord gave me cancer to save my life. So after that incident, man, it brought me to my knees. He has a plan for my life. He does. He has a plan for my life. I didn't get my upgrade yet. I've got a responsibility. I've got things I've got to do on this earth. And I believe what he's taught me about the human body and about health, about light, about frequencies, about fuel, and about my faith. I believe that combination is from the Lord, and I believe it's my responsibility to take it to the world. That's why I'd love for you to get my book, Light Code, and I'd love for you to understand the Light Code system, because I believe that's why the Lord still has me on this earth, so I can add value to people's lives. And I believe this will add value to your life. You can use one or many of the pieces of the puzzle. If you just use one of them, it's going to help you. If you use all of them together, it's going to help you even more. And so anyway, that is the story of the Light Code system, of my many near-death experiences in this life. Yet the Lord has kept saving me, and he keeps saving me because I have a purpose. At the end of the day, I want him to say, well done, good and faithful servant. That's what I want. That's why I'm here. God bless you.